Today we finally get to engage in the most exciting thing that Dawn of the Dragons has to offer. Spreadsheets! See, I know these things must be exciting because fans make them all the time. It even goes so far as to write software to make spreadsheets for you. Well, at the very least, they make my job easier, as they reveal the underpinnings of combat and reveal the best gear. And after I've shown you all that, I'll be able to point you in the right direction for a major upgrade to your most important piece of equipment. Out of all this badass stuff I've got strapped to my body, which one do you think is the most important? The thing that keeps my head from being split open? Or perhaps it's this string of severed heads? Wait, why am I carrying a string of severed heads around with me again? Or maybe it's these spiked gloves that are the most important in battle.
Nope. It's the chicken.
And this chicken isn't even a particularly good mount. I mean, I could be riding a dragon, or a griffin, or even a rowboat. See, what you've got under your butt is far, far more important than anything else you can equip. How much better? Well, bring in the spreadsheet, 'cause we're gonna test this bird. Actually, no. Let me put on a set where all the pieces actually go together. Alright, now let's make 100 attacks. I'll even tell my hordes to take 5 so they don't muddy my statistics. Alright, here's the numbers with just this set of gear. As you can see, the mount accounts for a whopping 345 million damage. That's more than 5 times what everything else in the set put together was able to do. Now let me show you something else. I'll run the same experiment, but this time I'll invite my swarthy band to join in. Now which of these bandits I keep around hits the hardest? Well, Beast King has the biggest number here. Whose signature is that? Oh, it's this guy, who grants damage based on my mount. And here's another one of my biggest damage dealers. And look, his damage is also based on my mount. Must be awfully crowded with so many people riding the same chicken. And speaking of multiple characters riding the same chicken, did you know that your Legion commander can also ride a mount? But if you only have one death chicken, and you've already got it under your butt, putting it in your Legion does nothing. So you'd be better off giving that lout an armadillo or something. But if you have 2 or more poultry that wish to bathe in the blood of your enemies, then you can equip one and put the other in your Legion. Both will contribute to you in battle. So, now that I've established the value of mounts, you want to know where you can find a sweet ride that you can pimp out. Well, I've got you covered! Behold! The steed of the Western Wald! Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's just a horse. And it abbreviates to sow, which makes it sound like you're riding an old hog. But this steed is actually really great once you know the trick to it. See, you don't just ride one of these. You ride an entire stampede of them into battle. Literally, you need 100 of these things to get the full effect. Now let's be clear here. I'm not saying that sow is the ultimate mount. But it's super easy to acquire, and while most of the other mounts you'll use are specialized, like, here's a horse that only eats the undead for some reason, the sow will merrily trample everything underhoof with equal enthusiasm. If you want 100 sow of your very own to clean up after, A, There's a reason I still keep these farmhands around. All you need to do is spend some time living among the cannibals. Technically, the cannibals have nothing to do with the horse. It's these spells over here. This combination of magic will give you special mounts randomly on hit. Like these Castlevania eyeballs, or blue manticores, or, of course, our sows. And by some long-forgotten agreement among a cartel of players with access to these spells, this combination is only ever issued to the cannibals. I assume that the Cannibal King must have done some clever bribery in order to acquire his monopoly. Anyway, just go through the cannibals until you find your local sow dealer, and leave the game one-hitting until you have yourself a full herd of steeds. If you're having trouble finding cannibals with a proper spell setup, talk to your guildmates. They should be able to set up any raid to produce sows, including guild raids or Renovate gear. If you want to know even more about mounts and the technical details, I've included some links in this video's description. And if you want to know the joys of creating spreadsheets of your very own, I've got a link to this wonderful tool as well. In my next video, I'll be covering the biggest and most critical quest in the game, the Dorizin quest line. And until next time and every time, this is Hadrix, signing off.